What is going on? My name is Mike. This is all about pressure washing, and in today's video we're going to discuss residential versus commercial pressure washing, which is better, which is more profitable, and which do I like more. So it's a rainy and it's an overcast day. I just dropped my daughter off at school and was driving back home when I remembered that Mac was in the neighborhood knocking out this house. Now, we've done this property 2 times already. This is the third. And before he got to this house, Mac, where were you?
At the office building they own.
At the office building they own. So like he just said, he already did one job this morning. That's not what we're going to talk about today in this video, but leveraging your customers to gain more business is one way to stay busy and keep your schedule full. So when you're out there, when you're talking to your customers, don't be shy. Ask them what they do. Ask them if they know anybody that needs your services. Ask them if they own a business. Ask them if they work for somebody that might utilize your services. That's just a quick tip today. And if you want to get more info like this, more tips like that, check out the 6-Figure Marketing Framework. We cover everything from boots on the ground marketing to digital and how to just increase your reach, increase your lead flow. We're actually having a special right now, $100 off. There's a promo code down below, so check that out if you're interested. So I just mentioned getting customers, and the marketing is different between the two because residential is business to consumer and commercial is business to business, and there are way more residential opportunities out there than commercial, so naturally there's going to be more competition for commercial accounts, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, let's talk about residential and why I like it. Obviously, there are more customers, which means more opportunity, so it's easier to find and acquire residential customers. Residential is a low-hanging fruit, and yeah, it doesn't take a ton of money to get into the business, and there is lots of competition out there, but really, the only competition you have is yourself. So focus on you, work on your business, and leave that mindset of worrying what everyone else is doing behind. Another thing is I find it a lot easier to upsell and cross-sell at residential properties because they're not working within a set budget. It's their personal property, and they're probably going to take more pride in that than if it was a commercial property. So it's easier to raise your average ticket price, which is a good thing. And typically with commercial, you're locked in once you give a quote. So just like at this job we're at right now, I was able to do a little upselling, so check it out. All right, so we quoted her on her office building. We quoted them on the house. I did not do any upselling. Shame on me. But I'm going to show you right now. She actually left. She said she wasn't going to be back, but I noticed their driveway was really dirty. So I'm going to show you how I upsell. You can do this remotely. You can do it while you're on the job if the customer isn't home. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple pictures. I'm going to say, hey, while we're here, do you want us to knock this out? Give them a price and see if we can't close the driveway. All right, on the downside, because it is their personal property, residential customers tend to be a little bit more picky. They tend to spend a little bit more time looking around, nitpicking, if you will, which is understandable. They're paying what hopefully is a really good price, but with that price, they expect a high quality job. And as a professional, that's not going to be a big issue for you. But just understand going in that residential customers are going to be a little bit more discerning than commercial customers. Another great advantage is it's a lot quicker to get paid, usually the same day. Now, we personally send invoices, and this is just a convenience to the customer because 9 times out of 10, they're not home or they're busy and have other things going on, and I don't necessarily need to be chasing them down to get paid. Again, it's just one of the things that we do to make doing business with us a lot easier, which makes life easier for the customer, which is a very good thing. So now let's talk about commercial. I love commercial work too, and when I first started this business, that was really all that we did. It was all route work, mostly restaurants, sidewalks, building fronts, dumpster pads, receiving areas, things like that. And this was all done late at night or early in the morning. And if you're an owner-operator, you only have to rely on yourself. But if you have employees, then you have to rely on them. And there is nothing worse than getting a call that someone can't come in, or even worse, a call from the customer the next day telling you that the job wasn't completed. That component, coupled with the Great Recession, is what led us to make some changes. And we were forced to shift a large portion of our business over to residential from commercial. Since then, we're probably 60, 30, 10, and 60% residential, 30% multifamily, and the rest is miscellaneous commercial stuff. And I think having a good balance at all times is essential for the success of your business because you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And then if something happens, then all of a sudden you don't have any customers. It is not a good feeling. Trust me, I know, and I don't want to be there again. So one of the reasons that I do like commercial, especially multifamily, is they are high ticket items. I'm talking $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 apartment communities. These are great, right? Because we can schedule them out for a week or so, keep everybody busy. Everybody is on one job. There's no travel time. It's much more efficient. And when you're on a job like that, you kind of get in a groove, right? You get the methodology down and you get pretty efficient by the end of the job, because most of these apartment buildings, they're all the same, right? And it's just repetition over and over. And that repetition increases your efficiency, increases your speed, which means higher profitability. And because it's higher profit, because it's commercial work, you are going to have to wait to get paid. The terms that you're going to probably have to agree to are probably 30 to 45 days. And that can definitely have an impact on your cash flow, which can be a tough nut for some folks, especially if you're just starting out and have to wait that long period of time to get paid. But as you grow, as your business scales, waiting 30 days isn't really that big of a deal, because hopefully you're running your business like a boss. Things are going well. You've got money in the bank. And so you're not going to have to stress out over one job, over one check. Okay, so pricing and profit margins are also different. In commercial, usually the larger the account, the lower the profit margin. Also, chemicals, supplies, equipment costs are higher with commercial jobs, which leads to lower profit margins, but that's to be expected to some degree. However, the larger accounts can be easier to manage and the lower margin can be made up in volume. And of course, if you're able to leverage a relationship, you can get the information that you need so you can make as much as possible and still be within any kind of budgetary constraints that they may have. When I was first starting out, I always thought that the lowest bidder always got the job, because 9 times out of 10 on these big jobs, they're getting 3 bids, at least the big companies are. But this is where salesmanship, this is where relationship selling, and this is where having the ability to build rapport comes into play and takes that 3-bid mentality out of the equation to some degree in a lot of scenarios. So the last thing I want to mention about commercial work is the insurance requirements. If you're going after big commercial work, then you're going to be required to carry different insurance than you would if you were only doing residential. The coverages are going to be higher. You're probably going to have workers' comp, even if you are an owner-operator, just a one-man operation, because that is the requirement. So be prepared for that. And you're probably also likely going to be required to have commercial vehicle insurance as opposed to just maybe a personal policy, if that's what you have. But these are all things that you need to, take into consideration and definitely discuss with your insurance professional, your agent, whatever the case is. So the bottom line, I think it's very important to have a good balance between both commercial and residential work. Both have their pros, both have their cons. All right, so that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the 6-Figure Marketing Framework, and I hope you have a great day.